welcome to another video. So, fun fact, I've already filmed this video. I then went to edit it and I realised that I have somehow not got any of the footage. So I'm redoing it. Let me just get to a slightly better position. So, today I am doing a if you like this book, you might like this film. I don't entirely know how well this is going to go. I'm hoping that the pairs I'm going to have are going to kind of work in both directions as well. So if you like the film, read the book. But I'm just going to get straight into it. Some of the books that I am mentioning have actually got spin-off shows themselves, but I am comparing to different things. And to be totally honest, because I'm incredibly basic, none of the shows or films that I'm mentioning are like massively exciting or like that people haven't heard of, but the ones that I enjoy. So I just thought I would do a little, if you like this, you might like this. So, first one, If You Like The Idea of You by Robin Lee, I think you might like the show Daisy Jones and the Six. So The Idea of You is about a woman who falls for this famous musician. Everyone in the world knows his name, but it's her that he is in love with. And I feel like, I don't know if this is actually set in the 60s. I get that impression from the sunglasses, but it feels to me like that kind of plot line in Daisy Jones, and I'm using the TV show here, where they become so big, but especially with Billy, he's got his girlfriend who he had met before, and that's who he wants, even though he's having women throwing themselves at him. So yeah, if you like The Idea of You, read Daisy Jones, watch Daisy Jones, or if you like the show Daisy Jones, maybe try reading The Idea of You. The next one I've got is If You Liked The Love Wager, which if you haven't read it yet, please do, this is fantastic. Try watching 10 Things I Hate About You. Again, or if you like 10 Things I Hate About You, read The Love Wager. So my comparison on this one is, in 10 Things I Hate About You, you have these two characters who, there's a bet basically. Well, it's not necessarily a bet, there's like a dare for them to hook up. The male, Heath Ledger, is being basically paid to take out the girl. And so it goes kind of from like an enemies to friends to lovers. And I feel like that's the same sort of thing that we get in The Love Wager. In here, we're following our two characters who have hooked up once and they're like, oh, no, that's not going to happen. Let's just be friends. So they go from friends and are dating lots of other people. And it's not the clearest comparison, but I just kind of felt like I had the same vibes from them both, with, like I said, with a kind of transition from like not liking each other to friends to lovers, and kind of, you know, skipping around those stations a bit as well. It's also a fantastic book and I highly, highly recommend it. The next one on my list is If You Like Red Rising by Pierce Brown, you should watch The 100. Now I'm going to say first of all, The 100 TV show is not the best, but I mean, I loved it. I have an awful taste in TV shows, but it's alright. I have read, I think, the first two books in the 100 series, and I actually do prefer the TV show to the books. I'm going to finish off reading the series, but the TV show is slightly better. It takes out some of the superfluous stuff that's in the books. But my comparison from Red Rising. In Red Rising, we've got a kind of dystopia future where the world is dead, and you've got this group of people who are basically terraforming, who are doing the really hard work that no one else wants to do to make the planet inhabitable, which is the same principle as in The 100. In The 100, these 100 kids are, so they're all like aged like 16, 17, are sent from humanity up in space, down to Earth to see if Earth is livable. Earth was by like a nuclear war, I think, many years ago, and the remnants of humanity have been living in space for however long. I don't think it's been that long. I think it's been like about 60 or 70 years. But the kids are sent down there because they are currently all in prison for one reason or another. And when you reach 18 up in the colony, because there isn't enough resource or oxygen or anything for the whole of humanity to live up there, when you reach 18, if you are a prisoner, you are killed. So they are sent to Earth instead. So I feel like you've got similar premises. Red Rising is darker, but The 100 is a super fun like show if you want something that's just quite fun and light-hearted while still having that kind of dystopia element. The next one I'm going to say is, if you liked Empire of the Vampire by J. Christoph, you should watch, and I'm going to give two options for this one, True Blood or The Vampire Diaries. So, okay, neither are super unique options. I'm saying True Blood because Empire of the Vampire is very dark and very adult, and True Blood is very dark and very adult. But I feel like there are actually slightly more links with The Vampire Diaries. It's just The Vampire Diaries is much more, I guess, a YA show, whereas True Blood is like its gritty, darker older brother. I love them both. I've only just discovered The Vampire Diaries. I've just finished season 1. I've been voice noting my friends with, like, after every episode being like, so this has happened, this is my theories, this is what I'm thinking, this is who I fancy, this person needs to get one. Which they all find hilarious or really annoying and just haven't told me. I don't know. But yes, if you liked Empire of the Vampire, watch these two shows. True Blood, Vampire Diaries, they're both fantastic. Honestly, if you like vampires that are dark and gritty and like to actually kill people, watch one of these two shows. Or both of these shows. They're both fantastic. And read this book, because the second one comes out in March. Next, I have got If You Liked To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. And this is I'm sorry, this comparison is really, like, obvious. Watch Exo Kitty, which is the spin-off of To All the Boys I Loved Before. So, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, the trilogy has been turned into a trilogy of movies, which I liked them all. However, there's then become a spin-off, which is Exo Kitty. This is set in Korea, where Kitty, the younger sister of Lara Jean, moves to Seoul and goes to school there. A year, I think it is, actually. Because her boyfriend goes to that school, who she's, at the end of the trilogy of this one, she meets him in Korea, and they've been dating for like the 3-4 years between the ending of this trilogy and Exo Kitty, by which point she's like 16, 17. I really enjoyed Exo Kitty. I actually preferred it to the To All the Boys movies, partly because it was set in Korea and I liked that, and I absolutely loved that the characters who were Korean and were, you know, two Korean characters, they spoke in Korean. I liked the fact that they didn't just anglicize everything and make everybody speak in English the whole time, because that just doesn't seem realistic to me. So I really enjoyed that. I also really enjoyed the queer rep in Exo Kitty, but it still has got that kind of light-hearted feel-good that you get from To All the Boys. It's got all the same kind of romance and like teenage angst, and I just absolutely adored it. So if you liked To All the Boys, watch Exo Kitty. Okay, I've got 2 recs left. My next one is, if you liked Heartstopper, watch Never Have I Ever. So Never Have I Ever is has a bit more kind of like action, has a bit more grit, has a bit more tension and a bit more humour, I feel, than Heartstopper. But I feel like you've still got a lot of same elements. So obviously in Heartstopper, you're following these 2 characters who are in school and they are discovering their sexuality, discovering each other, discovering their first relationships and everything that comes through with that. In Never Have I Ever, the characters are, I feel, a little bit older. So our main characters are girls instead of guys. And at the start, our main character, Davy, is basically wanting to lose her virginity. So she is just out to have sex with someone. And she ends up dating this super popular guy from school. We then get things like, it's the whole kind of issues around being in love and your first boyfriend and, having sex for the first time. There's discussions around sexuality, there's discussions around gender and everything else that goes with it. And again, relationships and discovering each other. And I love, love, love Never Have I Ever. I think it's such a fantastic show. I really, really enjoy it. And I really enjoy Heartstopper as well. I now, right at this moment in time, realise that when I did this before, and I lost the footage, I didn't put Heartstopper and Never Have I Ever together. I put Girls in Love by Jacqueline Wilson with Never Have I Ever. So I'm going to kind of do like a second bonus recommendation for Never Have I Ever, because again, I feel like while the Girls series is very much rooted in the 90s, it's aged. Has it aged well? I still enjoy it, but there are definitely what I would now say would be problematic content with the Girls series when I've reread it. Problematic's maybe not the right word, but there are words, terms, phrases that are used that you just wouldn't be acceptable if it was published today. But again, it was published in the 90s. It's 30 years old. Jesus Christ. But I feel like it deals with the same topics as Never Have I Ever, of that first boyfriend, that first relationship, wanting to keep up with your neighbours, with your friends, making sure that you're not falling behind. You're not going to be the last one who gets a boyfriend or the last one to lose your virginity. But yes, I just absolutely adore Never Have I Ever. And the final recommendation that I have for you today is the one that actually gave me the idea for this video in the first place, which is, if you like Daisy Jones and the Six, you should please watch, and I'm imploring you right now, watch Across the Universe. Across the Universe is one of my favourite films ever. It is just the most beautiful film. So Across the Universe is a story of Jude and Lucy, and a tale kind of set in the 60s, but told through Beatles songs. It's not actually got anything to do with the Beatles, but just like how Mamma Mia is just a story told through ABBA songs, but has nothing to do with the band. Same with Across the Universe. It's told using the songs of the Beatles, but has nothing to do with the band. But you've got Jude, who's from Liverpool. His dad was a soldier in World War II. He doesn't know who he was. This is again like early 60s. And he goes to America to try and meet his dad. While there, he meets him, he makes friends with like this other guy who takes him home to like spend Thanksgiving with his family. He meets his sister Lucy. There is the best clip of them, of the bowling scene. If I can work out how to find that clip and insert it, I'll do that. If not, you're just going to have to watch the movie to find what I'm talking about. The film covers not only like the romance between them, it covers the Vietnam War, it covers the Detroit riots. It's just so clever and so beautiful. And to this day, the Across the Universe version of Let It Be, it makes me cry every time. It is the best version of that song I've ever heard, and it's incredible. So they were my recommendations of, if you like this book, watch this film or TV show. If you liked this video, please leave me a like, subscribe down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.